Here's Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
It's such a pleasure to welcome my friend Jane Spicer to Golf to Go Radio Hour because Jane and I have known each other, I guess, about 20 years now. We first met at the PGA show, and I walked by her extravagant booth of her brand new designs of her head covers, and she smiled and I smiled, and we've had an incredible friendship all these years. Welcome, Jane. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Frank. Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Same to you. Jane Spicer is the CEO, president of Daphne's Head Covers. She's also I suppose, the chief imagination officer, the staff cheerleader. She's a mom, and there's assorted animals around the place that she cares for as well. How do you handle all that in your day, Jane?
Oh, they're all things that I love to do. So I think when we do the things that we love, we have plenty of energy for it.
So many, many, many years ago, your mom, Daphne, who is the namesake for Daphne's Head Covers, issued you a challenge. And because you had decided as a teenager that there was something you wanted to have. And your mom, in her infinite wisdom, challenged you as a way to get what you wanted. And the rest is history. Let's talk a little bit about that challenge.
Oh yeah, it was. I had a puppet business with my mom, and I'd been making and selling puppets, and I wanted a car. And my mom said, "Well, I tell you what, if you, somebody had challenged us to make puppets into head covers, and she said, if you sell enough of this head cover idea, I'll buy you a car." And I would have done just about anything to get a car. So we transformed the puppets into head covers, and I went out and gave just some very enthusiastic and very, very bad sales pitches to local golf courses, and actually sold to them, and started selling. And I sold enough head covers to buy the car, a little 1973 red Volkswagen Bug. And Daphne's Head Covers was formed, and I've been doing it ever since, and did it with the guidance of my mom. She was really set the foundation and the pace and the ideas, and mentored me. And now here we are, 41 years later, still making and selling head covers.
I love to refer to you and Daphne's as an American success story, because it really is. I mean, it took grit, determination, and that first sale you made, is still that golf course is still on your list of people that you still talk to. They're still friends of yours, and you've been able to combine not only business but relationships as well. And I think that's really important to your business.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, some of the best gifts that this business has given me are deep friendships. My friendship with you is a huge gift, and that wouldn't have happened without Daphne's Head Covers and golf. And as you said, the Arizona Biltmore was my first account, and when I was 16, and they're still my account. And the director of golf, who was kind enough not to kick me out of the golf shop then, his name is Pete, wonderful man. We're still in touch, and he's been a great guide and kind person, throughout my entire career. So these friendships that are formed, I have so much. When I go to the Biltmore, I have so much history there, and that's just wonderful. I kind of grew up at that golf course.
So tell us, for those that don't know, and there can't be too many, but for those that don't know what Daphne's Head Covers is, let's kind of take them through a little description of your company.
Sure. Well, Daphne's Head Covers were the original animal head cover company. So there were just regular sock head covers and things when we came onto the market. And we first started with all different animal designs, koalas and elephants, and we've grown from there. So you might know our most famous head cover, Frank. He's on Tiger Woods' bag, and we've been fortunate to be with Tiger on his bag since his entire career. And we create a variety of animals and new designs each year. And in addition to that, we'll do a lot of corporate designs, tractors for Caterpillar, or cans for Red Bull, or all different things. They're all head covers.
Yeah.
But they're things that you put on your golf bag that will identify it as an individual, and hopefully make people smile.
They not only make people smile, there's memories being made, there's personalization, there's this is my personality, and actually, in sort of a more practical sense, it probably is a little safer by not identifying, what your $500 or $600 driver is by putting a different kind of head cover on it.
Oh, absolutely. We've heard that from many of the pros where they, when first all the drivers changed and it would be the advertisement for whatever your driver was, and golf club thefts went way up. So, you don't know what's under a black lab head cover or an octopus head cover. So that, and then also, we'd like to think of ourselves, and we are the best quality head cover in the world. There, we will really protect your driver, and we stand by it so much that if there's anything ever wrong with our head cover, there's a lifetime guarantee. So if you bought one 20 years ago or yesterday, if something happens, just send it to Daphne's and we'll fix it and make sure it's remains something that identifies your bag as original, but most importantly, protects your expensive driver.
I think that's remarkable. A lifetime guarantee for a head cover made out of material that, there's lots of things that could happen to it. I mean, the quality that you put into it is remarkable, but to take them back and fix them if need be, that's not heard much in today's business world.
Yeah, it's just important to me. I when my mom passed, I put her name on our head covers. I'll show you an example here. We've got it right here. This is her signature. And I just thought, what can I do to really honor her? And that's really standing behind the product. And so, sometimes we get things that are just ancient and people say, well, don't replace it. Because I have, we had a man who said, do not replace this black lab. And it was in terrible shape. He confessed to always parking his golf cart outside in Florida year round. So it was in terrible shape. And he said, but you can't replace it. My son gave it to me before he went to Iraq. So we're like, oh gosh, well, okay. So, we rebuild them. Then we get others. We had one that said the head cover broke. Well, obviously a dog had chewed it. There were teeth marks in the eyes and everything. So we fixed it. But then I enclosed a dog bone and said, we fixed your head cover. Sorry that it, in quotes, broke. And here's a chew toy for your dog for next time.
You mentioned the eyes. One of the remarkable things about your designs is they're so lifelike. I mean, you don't just first time out, this is our design and you go with it. There's a lot of changing and refinements and things like that going on constantly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we go through my in basket is always filled with different head cover parts. And I didn't realize until recently that wasn't normal. My neighbor came and she's corporate and she said, people's in baskets aren't filled with bunny rabbit ears and and golden retriever noses, because we're constantly looking and we're changing and we're evolving. And for us, if somebody looks at something and goes, wow, that's a Bernese Mountain Dog, then we've succeeded. If somebody looks at that and says, what's it supposed to be? We failed.
Yeah, that's not good.
So we put a lot of thought and attention into the details.
You mentioned the black lab and the tiger head cover. Is there one or two head covers that people gravitate to that the most loved dog or anything like that? I mean, what's the favorite that you keep hearing over and over, or is there one? I mean, you've got a lot of choices. Yeah,
we do have a lot of choices. The favorites, people are such individuals, so they move with trends and with the times. For instance, one of the favorite dogs now is a doodle, because so many people have golden doodles or labradoodles. So that's very popular. But, some of the mainstays are Labradors. Labrador people are many times Labrador people for life. Whereas, I'm a golden retriever girl. So, I've, typically have Goldens in the office. And so it depends. And then for golfers, of course, our Gopher, just with Caddyshack. And,
right, yeah.
And that's such an icon for golf. So there's different things that people relate to, or fans. Somebody can carry a lion because Ernie Els carries our lion and they've always been a fan of it. Or it might be a symbol to them to, be courageous on the tee. Some people use it as a guide, or they'll have coaches that'll say, look, I got you this. You need to you know, I heard recently about a golf pro who gave an instructor an eagle because she wasn't watching the ball and then couldn't find it, was slowing the play. She said, you know, you've got to have an eagle eye. Your shot isn't done until you know where your ball landed. Watch it. So it was a teaching device. So there's many reasons why something becomes a favorite.
That's great. You mentioned Ernie Els and Tiger Woods. Your head covers are on a lot of tour players' bags.
Yeah, you know, and we're just thrilled. We're so flattered because my favorite thing is when I'm watching TV and it pops up and it's on somebody's that we don't know, you know. So then it's like, oh, and then of course we all are texting each other. Hey, did you see this? You know, Colin Morikawa carries our chocolate lab, and then he sometimes rotates with his doodle. He's got a nice doodle who's, if you're on Instagram, the doodle's name is Koa, and he's worth following. He's so cute. But you know, there are many of them. You know, John Daly, we do his lion. Lydia Ko, we do her penguin, which reminds her of New Zealand when she's not there. Brittany Lincecum, we do their chocolate lab. After Dexter, their chocolate lab. So yeah, we've got many. I think we have, last count, 250 touring pros on the
Wow.
LPGA and PGA that carry Daphne's. So I'm so honored and just thrilled every time we see them.
And I know you tend to sponsor a lot of events, and you're very big in charity, and you found a lot of ways to have your business help others as well. Your mom had a phrase that I love to steal from you, but I'll let you about when you're doing well.
Oh yeah, my mom's phrase, and I was raised with this, and now it's become one of our core values, is we must do good while we're doing well. So we just try to live by that. And our latest that we have, if I can tell you about, is the Marilyn Smith was one of the founders of the LPGA. And she was a dear friend. She lived here in Phoenix. So, you know, I got to get to know her and participate in her events, and her goal in life was to provide scholarships for women. Because when she was in school, she played so well. Her dad went to the university coach and said, do you have some money for my daughter? And he said, well, if she was a man, I would. Yeah. And so Marilyn was just remarkable. So she said, you know what, I'm going to provide scholarships. And so she did that in her entire life. And so now I'm very honored to sit on the board of the Marilyn Smith Foundation that we created. Thank you. And so, you know, and Marilyn wore pearls everywhere. So this hybrid owl wearing pearls coming out, and a portion of the proceeds will go to create scholarships. In addition, separate and apart, Daphne's has created a scholarship for the Marilyn Smith Foundation to help girls get to college and you know, and pursue their golf career. So this will be a new one for us this year, but all of our owl hybrid and fairway covers will be wearing pearls in honor of Marilyn Smith, and raising money, you know, for her great cause.
Good for you. You are doing good while you're doing well. You know, this time of year, it's always exciting to see what new ideas you've come up with. You would think that you know, there aren't any more animals or different flora or fauna that you could come up with. So I'm excited to see what's new this year, maybe besides the owl.
Yeah, well, thank you. One that I'm excited about all of them. You know how enthusiastic I get about all the designs. And this we're doing for the Jack Nicklaus group, the Golden Bear, which was fun. My mom and I did one years ago for Mr. Nicklaus, and they've come back to us. So there are some that are done in plush to go to the hospital, and then this with his signature on it will also be released. These will all be mid-year releases due to all the shipping delays. But this is just fabulously soft, and a portion of the proceeds will go to the Nicklaus's hospitals and the good work that they do. So that's another one that I'm just thrilled about.
That's great.
Yeah, we've got a new Bernese Mountain Dog. So yeah, I've
Lifelike.
Yeah, and they're just great dogs. And we got more requests for sea animals. So we've got an octopus. And again, the fur, I wish you could feel it. We're always upgrading and changing. It's fabulous. And I know when I've had a really bad shot, it's a nice thing to hold. It's a little soothing. And we've got a new hawk.
Love it.
Yeah, just great detail. And I was thrilled when I sourced and found this fur, you know, with the tipped fur. And then for the desert, we've got a a scorpion.
Remarkable. How about
Yeah.
that?
So lots of detail on it. And then for all our mountain properties, we've got a new elk.
You've been very busy.
Yeah, it's been a prolific year. Some design years are better than others. You'd think we'd have it every year, that no matter what we produce, but it's some years you're more creative. We've got a mallard and it'll sit nicely on the bag.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's we've got quite a few new designs. I'm really looking forward to introducing them and getting them out on the market so people can enjoy them.
I remember a friend of mine who's very big into owls, and I got her one of your owls, and she was just blown away at the feathers and the way it was all put together, and how lifelike it was, and that's been the case with everybody I know that's ever gotten a Daphne's head cover. So congratulations to your sense of detail and finish work, and and doing it in the numbers you're doing it to be able to keep that kind of quality is really a job well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's hugely important to us to just capture what you can with the animal and the detail and the quality. It should be something that makes you smile and protect your driver. There's a whole big kind of job description, if you will, for a Daphne's head cover, and everything from detail to function. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
There's a great story that I've heard you tell about Tiger Woods' mom and the head covers and what she does with them when she gets them from you. But there was a phone call that came to your company as well.
Oh, that's years ago. Yes, Tiger had won the Masters the first time, and we were very, very busy. We were selling head covers like crazy. And I didn't have a golfing staff, wonderful people, but weren't really up on just what was happening. And I heard one of my staff, a rather sassy member of my staff, saying, well, I don't care if her name is Mrs. Woods. We don't have any tigers and she can't have any. And still, it just makes my stomach turn retelling the story. And I ran to the phone, and it had the big long cord on it. And I grabbed it and I'm pulling it. No, don't say that. Got on the phone. Hi, this is Jane. Of course, we'd be happy to. No problem. We'd be happy to. And we did not have any tigers at that time. But ever since then, and still today, if I turn the camera around, I could show you, I keep 6 tigers locked in my office so that never, ever, ever happens again. So when Ms. Woods calls me, which she does, and says, this is what I'd like, there's no way that she'll ever have that answer. And we have plenty now, but I never.
It's so great.
It was just like, oh, as close as you could come to having a heart attack and still be able to function. I think I was right there.
And there's kind of a sweet thing that happens with them when you send them to her as well before she gives them to her son.
Oh, yeah. And as a mom, this just touches me. So when she gets them, she embroiders them all and with love from mom. And, she couldn't be at all the golf tournaments with him and travel the way Earl could. So she would write love from mom. So wherever he went, she was with him. And when he was with Titleist years ago, we would mass produce them for Titleist. But what I loved is Tiger only carried the ones that his mom made for him. It's like, no, this is for my mom and me. So Titleist would say, here, put a fresh one on for a photo shoot. And he'd say, no, this is from my mom. So that was really cool. And now another really cool thing is happening. As she reached out to me and gave me the specs for Charlie's clubs, because Charlie only wanted to carry tigers. So we created it for him. And on the back of his, it says love from grandma in Thai also.
How cool is that?
Isn't that neat? I just was thrilled, watching the PNC. Did you watch it?
I did. Yeah.
It was so good. And watching and seeing both the tigers there, and, having had a wonderful conversation with her saying it's, if I close my eyes and then open them again, watching Charlie swing is like watching Tiger swing, and then seeing both the tigers. It was just, I think I watched a whole tournament with goosebumps. If you could have one through an entire tournament, I think I had them.
Well, yeah, I mean, what a remarkable story, but that takes us back to the beginning where, I mentioned that this is a business for you, but it's but it's also, it's a series of relationships, and that relationship is one that really, I'm sure, warms your heart, and it's a fun story to listen to.
Yeah, it is. I feel really grateful. I mean, that we get to be, I mean, first of all, when I tell people I make animal head covers for a living, if they're not a golfer, they cock their head like a dog that's heard a high-pitched sound. They don't know what I'm talking about. But then to have these lifelong or career-long relationships with wonderful people like the Woods family, and with you and my first customer and all the other people in between, I get up and just love coming to work to see what's going to unfold, because I get to talk to and create for my friends.
Jane, you're one of my favorite people that I've met in the world of golf, and I've loved our relationship, and continue to wish you success in everything you do. You're a remarkable human being, and you bring a lot of joy to the world, and a lot of smiles, and that's a good thing to do.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you for your friendship over the years and your guidance. I've learned so very much from you, and if how many people can say golf brought them a Frank, and the golf brought me too, and they're both wonderful. So, and thank you very much for having me on today. I appreciate it.
Golf to Go with Jane Spicer doesn't get any better.